to be the security guy. He claimed he was a security guy.
Welcome to a prophylactic version of Security Guy Radio.
Painful.
Now, I know I used that joke before, but it actually is a prophylactic version because we're going to be talking about, the definition of prophylactic, of course, is to guard against a disease. And this time we're actually going to guard against the disease of disease because we're going to talk about Ebola today.
Disgusting.
We have the facts here at Security Guy Radio, not the fiction, as usual.
I must say I've never looked up the definition of prophylactic. I suppose
Are you going to take my Irish word for it? There's a guard against disease?
I'll take
Protect against disease. No, I didn't give myself a name today. Oh, it's Chuck Shout Out Harold today because, as you know, I just got back from As Is, my road trip to the American Society of Industrial Security.
Must have been nice to be able to go.
Okay. Oh, yes, it was nice.
Some of us are stuck in lovely LA.
On my free points version show. Oh, look there's our fan base tweeting the show. I've turned the volume down.
Who is it? Anybody good?
Actually, one of our stalkers is tweeting.
Oh,
very nice. So I just wanted to do a couple of...
So I didn't tell you I've got a new name. So it's Paul Chipmunk Bristow.
What?
because of my recent oral surgery.
Yes.
Which, thank God, has gone down, but that was hell.
Well, I think I like to do a first on the show today. I like to do the outing of shouts, or to out somebody, or to shout out. What is that, Mr. Bryan? What is that term? That shout out? A couple shout outs. So Atlanta, shout out. TSA.
Shout out Atlanta. That's how you do it.
Shout out Atlanta, best TSA. They actually stopped and they inspected the microphones they had in the bag for the show. Only airport that's inspected the microphones. And easy to get to, because as you walk to the airport, there's some voice playing over your head that says, turn left for this, turn right for that. Very easy to navigate. Another shout out to Tony and Samantha at the Ruby Tuesday in Atlanta Airport. Actually, excellent waiters and waitress. Terrible food, unfortunately. not the best food.
What do you want?
Not the best food. Shout out to, who else we go to? Park Ranger Opal at the Martin Luther King National Monument.
Oh, I saw you was there, on
Yep,
Facebook.
she took my picture inside the Ebenezer Church. I felt uneasy doing that.
Why?
Well, it's a church, and it's not used for services anymore, but, that's history, and you sit in the pew.
No, you haven't got her in trouble for taking your photograph.
No, she said it's perfectly okay. In fact, I didn't want to do it, and she says, oh, please, I insist, it's fine.
Right.
Very, very nice lady. And you sit in the pew, and they play his sermons, and you get a chill down your spine. I mean, you really feel like you're right there.
Yeah.
It's very moving, very moving. They went into his house. I forgot. Hey, Mr. Bryan, in my bag there, when you get a chance, grab... there's some cards I put in my black bag. Anyway, I got to get this guy's name. So I'm going to Martin Luther King's house, and I can't get in because I don't have a ticket. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I tell the ranger, hey, can I get in last tour of the day? He goes, no, I can't do it. Door opens up, and this nice man walks out and says, here, you can have my ticket. I've been here before, and no one should miss this. And I was like, the dream's alive.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's living the dream, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have to do that, and he left his brother inside and went with it by himself, and then let me go do the tour. I thought that was just outstanding.
Yeah.
Nice people in Atlanta. The best McDonald's.
It's a good city.
Best McDonald's I've ever eaten at.
Oh, really?
Very best McDonald's. And I happened to catch it on opening day. It had the absolute best food and the best service. And I'll get that guy's name for next week because I left it in my bag. But anyway, we're going to talk about Ebola today.
Yes.
I think it's important.
Subject.
And, of course, I was reading my old emails with Mr. Tom Orfanos, who happens to be, just as a coincidence, we happen to have an expert on the line about preventing disease. Mr. Tom Orfanos from ReadiMask. Tom, are you there?
I'm here.
Oh, Tom.
Hi, Chuck. Hi, Paul. How are you guys?
Good.
Welcome back. So I was going over some old emails, Tom, and I found one that we were corresponding with before you came on the show back in March or April. And I don't know if you remember, Paul, but I'd asked him, well, what does this do about Ebola? Because Ebola was kind of just starting over there in Africa, right?
Yeah.
A little prophetic because now we're talking about it. So I thought we'd have Tom on here to talk about this. And what we can do, just some basic things to kind of protect. But, of course, we have to have the 10 essential facts about Ebola, brought to you by Everyday Health. Fast facts. You have some facts, I suppose.
I've got a bunch of other stuff, so you go through the facts because I've got a bunch of...
The Ebola outbreak is most intense in West Africa. About 50% of current Ebola epidemics or viral infections have been fatal. 50% fatal. That's lower than I thought, right?
I thought it was higher than that. Is that the recent stuff?
Well, this is what it says. Yeah,
In some outbreaks, it was 90%, wasn't it?
well, maybe if you have no treatment or something. Early Ebola symptoms include fever, body aches, cough, stomach ache, pain, vomiting, and diarrhea. Mr. Brian, aren't those some of the complaints we get from our listeners here at Security Guy Radio?
And from me.
Some of those symptoms, yes. So
Sure, I've noticed.
be careful. Don't confuse our listener symptoms with the Ebola virus. What else we have here? Fast facts. Oh, okay. So it's an RNA virus, which sounds I can't even pronounce that. It's a complicated virus. They also kind of look like other symptoms. Bleeding is common in later stages. It's often fatal. New Ebola medications are in development. There's no vaccine. Now, I didn't know this.
Oh, no.
Oh, but did you hear the CDC? Oh, we're going to work on a vaccine.
Well, there's
you
a lot
think?
of experimental stuff going
Let's
on.
let everybody in Africa die and not work on a vaccine. But when it comes to America, we're going to work on a vaccine.
Yeah.
That kind of pissed me off, I got to say. Right? It says Ebola is not a general risk, a risk to the general public of the United States. Okay, so this guy from the CDC is up there the other day. I'm sitting there eating my perfect filet fish sandwich at the perfect McDonald's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And the guy says, well, because of our system here in America, there's no danger of an outbreak.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what a stupid, stupid government thing to say. Yeah, there's no danger as long as one guy has an outbreak in Texas and they wash the sidewalk down and they put him in the hospital and they quarantine a building. What if 100 people flew in here simultaneously around the country and landed? There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, no.
But I digress because I think there is something you can do about it. We're going to have Tom tell us about that in 1 second, but give us more facts about Ebola.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, I can't find it here, but when I was reading about it earlier on, it's actually really connected to something called the Marvo virus, which has been around forever. And I guess that spread pretty quite a bit in Europe at one point. So, this stuff's all connected. To say that it can't spread, I mean, not to go crazy on it, but would you actually believe the government in that?
No.
That it can't spread?
No. Life is a delicate balance.
Yeah.
I believe in individual responsibility, right? So if everybody acted responsibly for themselves and for the people that are next to them and take care of them, we wouldn't have the issues we have, right? But not everybody's responsible. This idiot gets on a plane, doesn't tell anybody, comes over here, doesn't tell anybody right away. Now he's probably going to die. He's in critical condition now, the first patient.
That's right.
Now there's a new patient we just heard about somewhere else today. So it's all balanced on people behaving and having a certain number of demands on the system. But if 1 million people need to be in a hospital bed and there's only 750 of them, the whole thing collapses.
Yeah.
So for him to say, no, it can't, don't worry about it.
Well, and it's
how did it happen in the first place?
Well,
how did the guy get here in the first place?
Yeah, but it's one guy. They're looking at 50 people.
One guy does 50.
He's in contact
50
with,
does 50 times 50, right?
Yeah.
So,
well, if 1% of those 50 people catch it,
right,
and they don't, and nobody catches it, it's out there.
Well, first of all, we were talking about this months ago when Tom was on. That it just takes one guy, and I'm sure they thought the same thing about AIDS. It was one guy, one air steward, air stewardess, and spread like that. So,
and let's face it, I mean, AIDS is pretty hard to. It's not airborne or anything like that.
And Ebola's not airborne either.
Exactly.
Yet.
Yet.
All right, because if you look at the history of diseases, they're living organisms and they want to live, so they mutate into something that makes them live, and it's possible this thing can go airborne.
Oh, God, if it ever got like influenza.
Right.
I mean, we'd have a real problem.
So, what do you do? I traveled a lot this last 2 weeks, and I heard about this stuff and I got a little nervous because you're sitting on these planes, right?
With everybody coughing around.
Coughing all over you, and the lady next to me.
And they haven't cleaned the plane before you get on.
No, of course not. No, I know how they do that with the guard companies do that. So Tom is going to give us a solution. Now, let me put a disclaimer in here so I don't get sued and Tom doesn't get sued. Nothing protects 100% against anything. There's no such thing as an absolute in life for most things. However, Tom's going to tell us about the ReadiMask, which I tested with pepper spray, if you remember.
Yes, it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun for you.
I've watched it a couple of times.
Right. And you can go to the website and see that video where I'm getting sprayed in the face with his mask on, and near the effect was nothing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So, Tom,
until you rubbed your fingers in your eyes, right?
Well, that was a problem with my fingers in the eyes. That was not on the instruction book. Tom, ReadiMask.com is the website, right?
ReadiMask.com, and Ready is spelled with an I at the end instead of a Y. ReadiMask.com.
Excellent. I want everybody to log in there right now and take a look at this product. Basically, it's a portable, thin mask. It fits in your pocket, fits in your briefcase, in the car. You can pull it out at a moment's notice, stick it on your face, and you're protected. So, Tom, you have the floor. Tell us about the product. What's going to help us? How can it help us with the Ebola virus?
Sure. Let me kind of step back a little bit about Ebola and symptoms, because you left out the scariest one of all. Which is the unexplained bleeding out of all orifices.
That's
one of the symptoms that I think scares most people.
Yeah, it's something out of a horror movie, isn't it, really? It's something out of an outbreak.
It's happened to you today because of your surgery,
Yes,
practically.
yeah, but it wasn't.
That's right.
Well, I hope not, anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the government has told us that, the Ebola virus is, basically found in, fluids, blood, semen, breast milk, stool, saliva, etc. And there basically has also said that it's typically transmitted, right, by hand contact, putting your hand in your mouth or eyes, or broken skin, or splashes of sprays or bodily fluid into these areas. And they've been telling us that it's not airborne to date.
Today, right. So it's particular in nature, as they would call it, right? Large matter.
That's what they say.
Right.
But, Tom, isn't that the same as really the common cold? Because the common cold isn't really airborne, is it? I mean, most of that comes from, you putting your fingers in your eyes and your mouth and all the rest of it, right?
Well, common cold is definitely more airborne than Ebola, just like the flu is airborne. However, all that being said, I was just recently reading a commentary written by national experts on respiratory protection and infectious disease transmission, and it was published in the University of Minnesota Center for Infectious Disease Research and Policy. And according to their analysis, they specifically state that they believe there is a scientific and epidemiological evidence that Ebola virus has the potential to be transmitted via aerosol. They're not saying that it definitely does, but they're saying that it has the potential to be transmitted, and you can't rule that out today.
Sure.
They're really saying that we don't know. Nobody really knows exactly what's been happening and exactly how it's happening. But one of the main reasons that they believe it's only by contact or close contact is because to date, no one that's been located at a far distance has been infected or contracted disease. And so they're just assuming that it must be contact, close contact.
And our CDC hasn't had the experience of West Africa with the virus. So you have to be cautious and use universal precautions on this. I was shocked to see on the news the apartment where patient 0 was. Some people are out there with a Lowe's power washer squirting down the sidewalk, and then I read that somebody in the area, a transient or something that was sleeping around there, may have come in contact with his vomit. There was, far as I could tell, there were no masks on these guys. It's just sloppiness. And, only by sheer stupidity do these things usually spread, not because, the virus is so great. Maybe it's getting help from our stupidity.
Yeah.
So what is your mask?
They have shown that it has transmitted among animals. So it's transmitted among monkeys, it's transmitted among pigs, and that's at a distance. That's without contact. So
animal to animal.
It only makes you think. Animal to animal. So
okay.
It only makes you think that contact may not be required.
Yeah, I wouldn't take a chance. Now tell us how your mask can help us with that. Because
so I'll tell you how the mask can help. So the CDC and the World Health Organization have certainly recommended that healthcare professionals wear a face mask and either goggles or an eye shield when they're performing, non-aerosol generating procedures. Problem with what they're proposing is that their face masks don't have a seal, and those eye shields are also open along the perimeter.
Right.
So create both an eye shield and a mask in one, and creates a complete seal because we use the medical adhesive along the inside perimeter to allow the mask to stick to your face like a Band-Aid. So nothing's coming in from the sides. You have the eye shield protection, and that'll protect you against Ebola better than some of these other products they're currently trying to promote.
Hey, Tom, you're cutting in and out just a little bit. We got about 4 minutes left. Yes, you got 4 minutes left, and I want to make sure we get all this in. So I tried this on. It's very, very easy. You pop open a little bag. It lays flat like a piece of paper, and you basically just kind of fold it across your face and pull down. And this adhesive adheres to your face, and then you pinch it at the bottom, and it's a tight seal. And he sprayed me 2 feet with mace, and it didn't get in, and I could breathe. And
I enjoyed watching it.
I know you enjoyed it. It was pretty amazing. So, Tom, people might think that this mask costs $100, but it's in fact about $7. Is that right?
Well, the one with the eye shield, which comes in adult and child size, is actually $8.99.
Okay.
And then we have a mask without an eye shield that just seals around the nose and mouth, and that one is $3.99. We sell them on our website. We sell them on Amazon. And on our website, we have some pretty interesting videos. We have a bunch of videos where people are getting pepper sprayed directly in the face, but we even have videos where people have gone underwater with our mask on. Not that it would be used underwater, but it shows that it completely protects it's such a good seal that none of the water penetrates the mask, which is important to know if you're concerned about splashes in an Ebola crisis.
Now, is this rated by anybody? Rated by the government? Rated by the CDC, the Army? Anybody that says it's official?
All our masks have been approved and certified. What's called P2 in Australia and New Zealand. It's equivalent to the U.S. N95 rating. And then our masks without the eye shield have been certified N95 here in the United States. And in their testing, we were required to do some very extreme tests that virtually none of the other masks have to do, which in my opinion confirmed that our mask is far more effective than the other N95s on the market. And we will be submitting the one with the eye shield for N95 approval soon. But as I said, they're all certified P2, which is equivalent to the N95. So there's been a lot of testing by governments here and abroad, as well as independent labs. And all our test reports are on our website.
All right, so we got about a minute left. Used by the military, used by police in riot situations, used by hospitals, used in operating rooms. It's used all over the place for some serious stuff. Am I correct?
Correct. Yes, it's being used. We're talking to the military now, although it has been sent over to Iraq for the soldiers for non-Ebola purposes for other uses. But we have a long list of purchasers from the federal government, local, state agencies, the public sector, private corporations, and individuals who are buying for themselves online.
I highly recommend this product, ReadiMask.com, ReadiMask.com. Check it out. I keep some in my car. I keep them at home. I keep them everywhere. It's very, very handy. And instead of somebody coughing up a big phlegm ball on your face, on an airplane, you can put this on and read your book. And
I actually don't think anybody would see anything weird in it now.
I see a lot of people wearing masks at the airport now.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting is what Tom mentioned about the fact that the CDC are recommending masks. If it wasn't airborne,
that's right.
What the hell would you recommend?
Because they
stuff,
don't know.
Right?
Tom, thanks for coming on. We got to cut out to our As Is program, and we'll have you on as a follow-up the next couple weeks.
Great, gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Tom. All right, so we're going to go to our tape at As Is, where I interviewed 3 of what I think are the best vendors. I had 8 vendors total. We'll have those in some subsequent shows.
Oh, yeah, people were knocking down the door to talk to you.
Well, I had a lot of people. It's a big place. So these are the first 3 products. No particular order, but I think you're going to find these interviews interesting, and we'll see you next week on Security Guy Radio.